Welcome back to another episode of Red Hill Racing Podcast. I'm your co-host Ben Knight, joined with Mr. 44X tonight. The man's already notched one on his belt.
Yeah, somehow.
Congratulations, brother. Got
Yeah.
another
I mean,
championship
first,
and that
first of,
hey, there's still a race left and you got it.
yeah, yeah, 100 and what is it, 131 point lead or
Congrats, man.
161 point lead? That's pretty cool. First of all, you're the host. I'm the co-host. Just don't sound right.
All right, all right. I'm your beaten, battered, tired, neck problem host.
Me too. I'm tired
Not
too.
not safe for work, of course. Y'all know that. What else was I gonna say? I was gonna say that I don't know. I guess we're amateurs, right? We're definitely not
That was
experts.
that was something that we
Yes,
wasn't.
something about experts trying to have a podcast and you got to have an audience. Well, we have an audience because we have
Yeah.
y'all. Y'all are listening. Y'all are
There's
watching.
a
We love
lot of
y'all.
people about every race that comes to me and says, I love the
Yeah.
podcast. So I don't know what they are. I look at them as friends, but
Yeah.
whatever.
If our buddy that was saying that happens to listen, then there you go, pal. You got our attention and yeah, cool. But he might not have been talking about us. Could have been somebody else.
Toucan Sam.
Yeah, yeah, it could, yeah.
That's
But
his nickname.
it could have been he could have been referring to our buddy Mac.
It's a multi-purpose nickname being calling him
Yeah.
Toucan because
Yeah.
he's a Fruit Loop. The
No
Toucan
doubt.
Sam was on the Fruit
No
Loops.
doubt. No doubt. So yeah, y'all can figure that one out. But we're here
Yeah.
for y'all's listening and probably not viewing pleasure, but
No.
actually it could be. Look, Dustin knows this. Every time I go and upload one of our YouTubes, whether it's this or a school call, it's like clockwork. I'd say I'm like averaging 75% now. It auto generates like the image if you don't create a
It's always these.
thumbnail. Yeah, it's just dust and cheese and like 70 and I like legit laugh my ass off when it does it. And I'm it's pretty high percentage now. It must know that y'all like that. But then again, we're amateurs. That's why I don't create thumbnails for all of them.
Yeah, we
I
don't
ain't
know
got
what we're
time.
doing. We're just talking, man.
I
We're
ain't got
just
time
talking
for
to our
that.
people.
That's
I
right.
mean, if you want a tip though, whack. There you go. That's about as
Yeah,
much as I'm going to give you.
yeah, that is whack. Shout out to the sponsors. We've got the University of Wynn, BMF Motorsports, Max ECU, Montgomery Motorsports, MPS Racing, Penske Racing Shocks, Hard Times Parts and Service, DME Racing, Schnitz Racing, little belated birthdays, Mr. Ryan Schnitz. I think his birthday was yesterday. We got Brock's Performance, MTC Engineering, BST Wheels, Monster Race Products, Platinum General Services, and Worldwide Bearings. Appreciate their support. By the way, I did not send out last week's certificates. I apologize. I will get on that tomorrow. I will make sure the winners get those. Secondly, I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. I'm sorry, y'all. I failed y'all. I planned to go to Charlotte this weekend and get us some content to share with y'all and stuff, and just didn't work out for multiple reasons. Mostly on me. Can't really blame anybody else but myself. So apologize for that. That was the plan and didn't come to fruition. So,
That's all
but
right. We got coverage here
yeah, I
right
was gonna say,
now.
but we will talk about it right now. So where let's kick it off. NHRA at Charlotte this past weekend, second race of the countdown, I believe.
Yep. Final qualifying results. Just go over the top 10. Matt Smith, 679.9, Gage, 681.2, Richard, 683, Hector Jr., 683.4, Gianna, 685.0, Mark Ingerson, 687.8, John Hall, 688, Angie Smith, 688, Gino Scally, 688. Good job, Gino. That's cool. Kelly Clont, 689. Good job, Kelly. Surprisingly, I'm going to do 11th. I'll just do them all. 11th, Chase Van Sant, 689. Steve Johnson, 691. Chris Bostic, 693. Ron Torno, 693. And then Marcus Hilton, 716. And that's the qualifier. That's the final results of the qualifying. Um, uh, to me, I mean, Gage is a little faster than Richard still. Matt is where Matt's been, in my opinion. It must have been bad weather. I really didn't ever look at the weather for the weekend there. But I do think that Gianna, John, and Angie's off pace. They're usually closer to Matt, and they're off. Gianna's 500ths off, which I feel like she should be at least an 82 bike. Um, her mile an hour's down from usually, I mean, hell, one race she out mile an hour everybody. She's down mile per hour. I don't know what that is about. John Hall is 88 and Matt was a 79. I feel like John's should have been 83 ish, and Angie is usually a little bit more off pace than those two, it seems like lately. So new bike blues probably. But I don't know if there was a 200-mile-an-hour pass this weekend. I don't think there was. I don't
Uh,
everything I seen was 199s.
yeah, I was gonna say that's what I saw was
Yeah.
199.
um, which I don't
I didn't
think a
go through all of them.
Suzuki will realistically go like fastest mile per hour of the weekend at this moment in time, just because they're heavier. They're held back. They're having the Suzuki's are having the front half to run the same overall ET as the V twins right now, and the V twins are
Do you know the
behind on the
difference?
front half.
What the difference is right
Um,
now?
and I can't remember exactly, but I want to say that like isn't I think Richard and them's like 670 or something or six something, which is a lot. Like I look at it like my bike, my street bikes, they're 475 pounds without a rider. And if you put a light rider on it, you know, those bar bikes are weighing more than my street bikes with the same rider, which is just heavy. That's heavy. I mean, a bar bike should be light, you know. Um, but they're not. I mean, the V twins, I don't know what they weigh. It's um obviously lighter. I want to say it's 50 pounds difference, maybe or something.
Yeah, I was trying to find it online. I'm not
I'd
really
have to do some
sure.
reading, you know. But I do have some.
Let's see here. I might have found something. This is from August of, okay, August this year. Looks like Gen 1 Buells weigh 625. Gen 2 Buells weigh 640. Vance and Hines 4 valves weigh 660. Yeah, so I mean, that's from, has there been a change since August? Probably not weight
mm,
wise, has there?
no, I think they did that last change at the end of August. I want to say.
So that's 20 pounds from a Gen 2 Buell, and it would be, well, that would be what, 35 if they're running a Gen 1. But
Yeah,
I don't even know who's running Gen 1, Gen 2 stuff. Do you?
that. Yeah. Hector Jr. is Gen 1, for sure. Of course, Matt. All the MSR are Gen 2. I think. Um, I don't think he was there, but Ryan is a Gen 1.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I think Ingerson is a Gen 2. I think. I don't know. I know he's got an EBR body, and then like MSR has the 1190 RX, but I don't know the motors. I mean, the body don't mean nothing really.
No, not in not an old pro
Kind of like
stock
what Steve was
motorcycle.
saying. Pro stock cars, you got Chevy and Dodge and all this, but they all have the same kind of engine.
Yeah.
Whatever. But
So we had the qualifying, and then we get
yeah, and
into eliminations.
I don't have the eliminations results pulled up. I had those sweet little qualifying
Yeah.
sheets though.
First round, Mr. Matt Smith had a bye. Um, did he qualify number one? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, so that
79. He
makes
was the only
sense.
one that went a seven. It was a
Okay.
71.9. So
All right, so six-time champ Matt Smith goes on a single for E1. Then you had Gage racing Marcus Hilton. Uh, Gage taking the win there. I'm sure Marcus and them are still just working on the program, trying to get up to snuff. So it's pretty cool though. Two XDA racers going at it. Then
yeah, privateer, what I
yep,
call it.
yep. Then we had RG5 against Ron Torno. Man, that was a race. 024 for Richard, 020 light for Ron. I mean, it started out to be a race. I don't know what happened to Ron. Let's see if it says it in the notes. No, I mean, Ron had a 1:18:60, so that's all she wrote.
It done something like
Got up on
it
the tire or something,
yeah, it done
rattled the
something.
tire.
Yeah, he had to get out of it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure.
I watched it
Well,
while I drove.
actually, he went 1:18:309, 466 at 156. So yeah, he had something happen there
Yeah, like
early,
he had to
early.
like drive it from the center. I remember that. Yeah.
Okay. So RG5 is moving on there. Then you had Miss Gianna taking on the vet, the legend, Steve Johnson. And Gianna got it done there, 696 to a 7 flat. Had the starting line advantage, so led the whole race. Next up was the smooth Chris Bostic and Hector Jr. Hector had no 28 light to Chris's 068. A little bit behind on the 60 and 330, and then started making it up after that and managed to run a 689 to a 694. Not a bad race right there. Then we got down to getting down here. We got Chase Van Sant and Mark Ingerson. Um, Chase got treed, which is rare. Mark was 018 to Chase's 031. I guess he knew he needed to hit the tree. Chase had a phenomenal 106 60 foot, carried that to a 690 flat to beat Mark's 692. This was a super tight race. Remember, I said 031 to 018. The margin was
Yeah.
009. Um,
Wow.
so literally, Chase had to drive around Mark
I
going
remember
through the
watching
finish
that.
line.
Well, listening to it while I was driving home. Yeah, but that sounds. I remember hearing him say that
Yeah,
he
he
drove
drove
around him.
drove around him literally in the mile per hour traps. So yeah, that's a heck of a race there. Then we had our buddy John Hall racing Kelly Klontz. Kelly actually outperformed John on this
Took a,
pass,
took a nappy nap.
but yeah, unfortunately she was not there early on the tree. She was 101 to John's 020, so giving up 800s there, and that was the margin at the end. Kelly went a 696 with a 9. John went a 697-1 for a whole shot win.
Yep.
Um, Then final pair of E1 was Miss Angie Smith taking out Gino Scally, who turned it 001 red.
He was
Um,
trying, man. He went a 96, I think.
yeah, he went to 696 to Angie's 690. She was good though. She was 35 on the tree,
Yeah.
so he tried to throw it out on there. Like I said, I hate that I missed it this weekend because I would have had a little bit more, insider knowledge and
Yeah.
see where Gino's at on the Vansenheim rental bike. But looks like he's getting the hang of things again, getting in with the new.
Yeah.
So, did you pull up second round? You want me to roll through?
I got it.
Go
Second
for it.
round, we
You don't want to
had
hear me.
Gianna racing Hector Jr. Hector's bike left and then died. Like it didn't even make it. See, it didn't make it a few feet. He was 017. Gianna was 010. Gianna went a 699. Which isn't I don't think would have been enough to beat Hector Jr. that round. So, everything happens for a reason. Uh Gage had to race John Hall. John was ready to make pizza. He was 50 red. Um Gage
It's
was
not
oh
it's not
20.
funny, but it's funny what you said.
Yeah, I mean, I call him
Yeah.
Pizza John,
Yeah.
and he always tells me there's only one Pizza John, but he is our Pizza John, right? So, um, Gage went a 687.4 at 196. Had a 106 short. Then it was Richard and Chase, which my honest opinion when I was driving, I'm like, this is going to be a barn burner. And man, Chase done the Chase thing. 002 on the tree. Richard was 028. Richard went a 688 and Chase went a 94. Um, just off pace, just enough that Richard could get around
200s at
him.
the stripe. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
margin was
wasn't a bad race.
029, roughly 6 feet. Um, Matt had to race Angie and round two. And neither one of them wanted to win the
They
race on the tree.
didn't.
Matt was 097, Angie was 0.12. Um, Matt out 60 footer by over 200s. 330, he got her by 400s. eighth mile, he had her by 300s. That little bit of less weight she's got on her started showing up, I guess, maybe or something. He went a 686.3. She went a 689.3. She had about point 0.3 ish mile per hour. Matt won by oh 06, roughly 12 feet. Um,
She was just giving him the hit.
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead,
Well,
get on down there.
yeah. E3. Nobody likes this one. It was Gianna racing Matt and Gage racing Richard. You're looking at that going, why can't they just swap? Um, but man, Gage meant business. Gage obviously is aware that he's going to have to step up to the plate, to win. And Gage was 005. Richard was 025. And it was starting off where Gage was about to pull away. Gage was 106, Richard was 108 to the 60. And then something went wrong. At the 330, Gage was 292, Richard was 289. So Richard had done past him at the 330. And the Richard went a 689 at 196. And of course, Gage shut it off and went like a 874. Insider scoop, it was an electrical connector that come loose. So, according to friend of a friend of a friend. And Matt and Gianna, man, Gianna was trying to pop the boss man. She was 017, Matt was 069, but that was about as far as it went. After that, it was a see you later, princess. Matt drove away 108 short, had her by 3-ish at the 60. Matt went a 690 and she went a 704. 18 feet at the stripe. To have a 052 start line advantage and to be pretty much drove around by the 330, boss man, she should have kicked him in the nuts. The final, it was Richard and Matt. And to be honest, I'm like, Richard is in his second consecutive final in a row. As a racer, you get comfortable. The more you do things and the better you do, the stress of racing goes away. But I do think that Richard needs to get that win to help him out. And he kicked it red. He was 013 red. Matt was 036, which I think might have been his best slide of the weekend. Which was a good person to have it against. He was hungry and wanted it. But Matt went a 684 at 199 and Richard went a 687 at 197. Not real sure if Richard, had a clean pass or if that was all it had or whatever. I mean, 197 definitely seems kind of up to par with everything that everybody runs. So he made a Facebook post and said it was on him. And anybody that races motorcycles knows that happens. Like it's not, a big letdown when we see somebody go up there and go 01 or 00 red because you live by the tree, you die by the tree, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But some of the 60 foots were, off. Like we've all seen Vance and Hines and Gage and Richard go 104s and they were 106s quite often. Even Chase was 106 once. And even Matt and them were kind of off a little bit. It must have just been bad weather because nobody was flying. Nobody was setting the world on fire. And I think Matt and them was living in the 108, 109 area for the most part. And that's what it's going to take is that little separation in the 60 for the Suzuki's to be able to run the same ETs, not mile per hour, but the ETs, because they're going to have to front half a little better and the V twins are going to back half them, but
I mean,
all in
look,
all,
it couldn't have worked out any better for Matt Smith. I mean,
yeah,
he
he
had
took the
the
points lead, right? I think this weekend he gained the points lead, which is
I'm just
probably,
talking about how the qualifying and everything. I mean, look, he had to buy first round. He had to race his teammate and wife second round. He had to race his teammate third round, and yeah, then made it to the finals. So
yeah, yeah.
hey,
I mean, any
that's
kind of
it's
logical racer
championship.
though
It's
would,
championship season, y'all. I'm not saying because I didn't keep up with it enough,
no, Yeah, I
but
don't
there's
think there was
things
any
you're going to
give
try and
me's.
do. No,
No, yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
saying that because I ain't. I
yeah.
look, we're not going to feed y'all false information or
No, no, no,
shit we
yeah.
don't know, and I
No,
don't
I just
know for
read the
sure.
results,
Yeah,
and
I'm just saying,
uh
like I don't know if they tried to qualify like that or if it fell like that, but that was wild.
yeah, I do feel like that everything on the qualifying made good sense until the semis. I feel like that, maybe not, but if it was me, I would want to race one of the other guys instead of my teammate in the semis. But that's just how I am. The ladder falling for him after race Angie second round, you know, it sucks, but it seems to happen quite often. And it really does happen when there's only 13 motorcycles or whatever. So we
Um, yeah, well, it was 15,
well, okay,
15 total. Yeah.
15 motorcycles and two teams is eight of them. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
teammates are going to race each other, quite often. But that's just part of it. You have people just right now for some weird reason, even though it's back on the East Coast, I think everybody, the countdown started and the people that just want to go race and go, but the ones that want to qualify for the countdown, they either did or didn't, and they're just not doing it. Now, I don't know if we'll see any blockers this year just because Matt's got his hands full with four bikes, but you never
Well,
know.
I mean, that's what I was saying though. They qualified first for Matt and then fifth, seventh, and eighth for Gianna, Angie, and John. So like that,
Yeah.
it kept them all on the same side,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, except for John, technically.
I
Um,
mean, I see nothing that describes home cooking. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Gage and Richard raced each other, and Gage tried
oh
to rip
yeah,
his
yeah,
head
yeah.
off, and the bike broke. And then you see, Matt and, I mean, Gianna tried to rip Matt's head off,
Yeah.
So there was some just good old drag racing. Everybody was a little slow. It
Well,
must
it's
have been
it's
just
hard
hot.
to, and that goes back to people talking about like, oh, this team or that team sandbagging doing this. Like, it's so hard to predict qualifying because like even if
Yeah.
you set up your bike or your teammates' bikes and you're trying to run a certain number, you don't really know what the other people are doing. So like it's hard to try and achieve those things. And I'm not trying to say they were or weren't in qualifying. I'm just saying like it makes sense. And like it doesn't bother me one bit. Like if you're running for the championship, right? Dustin, I've talked about this plenty of times. I mean, like, hey, there's going to be some teamwork involved for that. That's,
Yeah, I
part
don't
of it.
think not yet.
Not
There's
yet,
not
not
nothing
yet,
like that
not
yet.
yet. I'm just
It
saying,
might
I'm
happen,
prepping.
but
I'm
it's
prepping
not
us.
yet.
I'm
Yeah.
prepping us.
You know, it's anybody that ever mentions the sandbag thing for me, I just laugh because I've watched those people at Bristol try to go fast. It makes my hair stand up when I hear somebody say it. Realistically, any of the teams are sandbagging. Especially Vance and Hines. I watched them. I watched them change things. I'm not going to say what because none of nobody else's business, but I'm a motorcycle guy. I've worked on motorcycles and drag race my entire life with my father, and then until I took over myself, and they were trying to go fast. So there's nobody sandbagging. And if they was good enough to sandbag to be just barely faster, great job. That's
Yeah,
it.
exactly. That's what
And
I'm
that's
saying.
harder
If
than
you,
just trying to go fast.
That's my
So,
point though. It's so hard to
yeah,
do that. So like I'm just saying, like if you try and set up qualifying a certain way and you succeed, like kudos to you, you for doing that because that's hard.
one more big thing that I want to talk about NHRA is our dude Larry McBride is the champion of
Without a doubt.
NHRA Top Fuel. Um, Look,
Fitting, a
if you don't,
fitting.
yeah,
I
if you
mean,
don't think Larry McBride's the baddest guy on a Top Fuel motorcycle currently, right now, you just don't know Top Fuel motorcycle. Now, I'm not saying that he couldn't be beat because it's drag racing, but if you give him a shot at 4 or 5 races, that man's going to prevail. Like that's just what they do. It's their whole life.
yeah.
Um, I watched it driving home. Um, hell, I teared up when Steve got teared up in the interview and choked up, and I'm like, man, like I'm so proud. There's a lot of heart that goes into that stuff, and there was emotion between Larry and Steve in both interviews, and it was cool to see. Larry did win the event as well. Mitch broke in the final, um, in the water box. But I think he locked the championship up the round before that. So in the semis, when Larry took his bye, he locked the championship up for this season. This was their last race, and in the final, Mitch's bike didn't fire or something happened, and Larry made another solo.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what he run. The 1,000 foot thing messes me up. It was like 480 something or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. For the inaugural, well, was it inaugural? Had they had it ever before, or they just brought it back? Remind me.
They brought it back like years
Okay, yeah,
ago.
yeah.
NHRA had Top Fuel
Okay,
motorcycles.
so for bringing it back in the first year back, like okay, like not out of this realm to think that the most dominant top fuels team in history is going to fare well, and they had some early on struggles. I think what Dave Vantine, he got the first win, I'm pretty sure, and but they
Which was
stayed
fitting. I
at
mean,
it.
it was good to see Dave.
Yeah,
He's a contender. They got a fast
yeah,
hot rod, and it was good to see him have a Wally. This
no
season.
doubt. But they
I
were
want to say
working in
that
all
Mitch
the
deserves a Wally.
Yeah,
I
well,
like to see him win
that's where
one.
I was yeah, that's where I was trying
Yeah,
to project this and go is that like not really surprising. And look, y'all know Dustin and I, Larry's our dude. We got a great friendship with Larry.
friends with all of them, but Larry is our brother.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
just different.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Definitely friends with all of them, but
yeah.
like I was texting Larry earlier and sorry, Mitch, we ain't got on that level yet, but like I'm not texting Mitch, but no, I mean, what I wanted to say is that man, like first off, shout out to Mitch because basically a privateer style team going up against what you call the big dogs, the guys that have been doing it for years, the McBride brothers, and
Yeah.
and
I
they're
don't even know if Mitch has a spare engine. Like I don't know if
right.
he
I
has.
don't know either
Right.
for
And
sure.
it kind of shows in his
You
tune-up
know what?
because he went some 5 teens in the 1,000 foot, but his mile per hour was down like
You know
20 or
what he
30.
does though? He does because I
Okay.
remember before this race, I read an article, and I don't
Okay.
know if it was Tim Haley's. Excuse me. Shout out to him if it was, or NHRA. Anyways, I read an article and it was talking with Mitch about, because he had the opportunity to still possibly get the world championship coming into the
Mm-hmm.
race. Needs some stuff obviously to fall in his favor, but yeah, I think in that article he talked about, having like two or three spares where, Larry and them have 8 or 10. So, he said obviously he's going to wick it up for the final event, and hey man, he did.
He did.
They
Yeah, the
did
number
for
two
sure.
qualifier, I think. Yeah.
When yeah, yeah, I was trying to
He went 5 teens in qualifying. Um, I could probably
no, he
pull it.
went 491 in
Oh,
Q3
I missed that one.
against
Okay.
Larry. Yeah,
Okay.
Larry went a 482 and Mitch went a 491.
Damn,
So
brother, you're right there. Like
that's what I'm
that's
saying. So
awesome.
like
Yeah.
Mitch knew what they had to do as a team, and they stepped up in last race of the year. I think that's what the article said. He
He
said, "Hey,
planned on using those motors.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw it at it." So but that's just cool, and shout out to that team. Like I said, they're a smaller funded team, and this big, the pinnacle of two-wheel racing, you call it, and
Now,
and they put up a great fight running in the fours final weekend and making it to another final.
to
But
clarify,
what's that?
it ain't like top fuel cars. Top fuel car comes back or a dragster or whatever, the whole engine comes apart every time. Motorcycles ain't necessarily that way. The top fuel bikes go, oh shit, we heard it this time. They swap a motor. They come back, look at the data. Oh, it's good. Just get it ready for the next pass, and they go run the same engine. They don't really, it's a little different. Some people might not know that the top fuel bikes do not have to pull the motor apart every pass unless they just hurt it. And if they do hurt it, they just swap it. Versus top fuel cars, they rebuild the engine like every pass.
Yeah, yeah, for
For
sure.
those that didn't know.
Oh, that was a good tidbit to chime in there with. And then shout out also to Mr. Bob Malloy. He went 499 and he won. So,
Yeah.
these teams they're
Everybody's,
working on them.
I
They're
mean,
working on them.
yeah, they're right there. I mean, and I think I mentioned this when they were on here with us live. I remember Bob Malloy on the Honda, the fastest Honda in the world. And every time I hear his name, that's what hits my brain. And it was just because I was a kid And, I remember his leathers, and it had these weird turnout pipes that come down by the engine. They just, each two cylinders on each side turned out, and it would blow his leather pants. And it was just badass. Like, it screamed America when that guy was making a pass on that whole Honda. And maybe I'll look up and see if I can find an old clip of that and share it as a reel on the podcast, because it was, a lot of people have probably never seen it. And I have home videos with him. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So as Dustin said, shout out to all those fine competitors trying to revive this Top Fuel motorcycle racing. First year running it as a actual class, points chasing class, 4 race series, and Mr. McBride got her done, got her
Yep.
did.
Yeah, congratulations, brother. I haven't talked to Larry. I'm slacking, I guess, as a friend. I've been gone racing myself, and
Yeah.
I'm still licking my wounds. I unloaded the bikes today finally and put them on the lift, and then I knew I couldn't really work on the night unless I want to burn some late night oil, and I do not want to burn any late night oil. I am tired, and I might go to bed after this deal, catching up on
I'm
some
definitely going to bed after this.
I mean, Ben got contaminated me with his sickness when we was at Virginia. I'm gonna blame that on him until until
I
somebody
was
proves
I
me
was
wrong.
sick like 3 weeks after Virginia. I
He
don't
he
buy
had
his
a
stuff.
he had a headache at Virginia, and then we come back from Virginia, and then I get a headache, and then Ben gets sick, and then I get sick. It's just a coincidence
I had headaches for
for
3
weeks.
weeks before.
Yes,
Yeah.
I had it for two
Oh
weeks,
man.
and then all of a
I
sudden
got
I
that
got
new one.
sick.
It's not the Corona. It's something else. It's that new.
Whatever, I don't
I'll
care.
tell you what,
I
if
kicked
I'd
its
like to get
butt.
rid of these random ass neck pains that are just
I
debilitating.
I don't know if anybody's like me and Ben, but me and Ben are big on just going to the grocery store and picking out random ass medicines and making our own chemical concoction for getting better when you're sick. This time I tried something different. I drunk emergency vitamin stuff that you put in
Yeah,
water twice a day, and it literally knocked it plumb out. Like,
there you
I
go.
still have a little remnants. Tamara laughs at me because I'll be laying on her and I'll breathe real heavy, and you hear it crackling. She's like, cough it up, like she's my mama or something. Speaking of Tamara, Lord, guys, last night I messed my diet up. We both of us for the past week. I'm like, well, since we've messed this diet up, I've been wanting breakfast. She's like, okay, I'll stop and get stuff. We'll make breakfast for supper. So I'm making the gravy, Uncle Walt style sausage gravy, and she's frying the bacon. My lovely wife cooks hot. Like, she don't cook sizzle. She cooks screaming like it's hot. And bacon popped, and the bacon grease hit her in the eyeball last night. And at first she was like, it's the corner. I'm like, okay, let me look at it. Now I'm looking in the corner. I'm like, I see nothing. Like, I'm making her look up, down, around, and didn't see nothing. Well, she makes her plate and she eats and she eats. And I look over and she's holding the wet wash rag on her eye. Let me look at it again. So I got my flashlight and she looked up, and you could see like a dull spot on, like, your eyes cover with that clear protector. And it was just like a dull spot right dead center, little low. And like, okay, here you go, merch room. She's like, what? So I took a picture and showed it to her. I'm like, don't fuck with eyes. Like, you can't see I have a fake one. Go get it, whatever it costs. Let's just go get it checked. And she went and got it checked, got antibiotics for her eye and the numbing medicine. She come home the day from work, and I said, let me see it. And you can't even see where it hit it at.
Fine.
The eyeball is a healing dude, man. Like, it look, I couldn't see it. I
I
made her
always
look every
wonder.
which way.
I always get eyelashes in my eyes. I got pretty long eyelashes, and like I always
Yeah.
wonder where they disappear to. Like where the
Probably go in the back of your
fuck?
brain.
That's what I'm saying. Like where
Like
does
the
like
little
things
tendons that hold your
go?
eyeball, they're back there chilling, back there in the back.
Yeah, but like I guess they like I don't
I
know.
wear
Just
I wear contacts. I've never lost a contact in the back of my eyeball. If that makes you feel better, it always comes to
well,
the
God,
front.
I'd hope not. I
Yeah,
don't think you get that, but I'm like sometimes there's like dirt and hair and stuff like that. Like you get it
yeah.
you get it out sometimes. Sometimes that shit ain't it's in there. I don't know where it
Well,
goes.
you
That's
know,
what I'm wondering.
I went to my doctor one time from something. It wasn't in my eye, but my eye was irritated, and obviously there was stuff in my eye. Um, there was, the doctor said that it looked like rust. in my eyes because I'm a big safety squint guy. You know, when you're grinding, you use your safeties. And I told Tamara, I was like, for now when you make bacon, you got to use your safety squints. I said, now look, if you're really worried, go out in the garage and get that face shield I got. So you can put it on when you're frying bacon. She
Yeah,
was like,
I'm gonna
fuck you,
send
dude.
I'm gonna send Tamara a pair of goggles, some like
Well,
four-wheeler goggles.
look, I was just Googling like, damage to your, what's it called? It ain't
Retina?
your retina.
Oh,
No, retina's the thing in the middle. It's whatever
I
the
don't
thing is
know.
that protrudes, the clear thing they cut open. They do like anyway. Um, it said when you're frying bacon to wear safety glasses or goggles. I'm like, who does that? Have you ever seen your grandmama cooking bacon with goggles on? No, no. You just do the safety squints and
Bacon's
step out.
dicey though. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
gotta
mean,
do
I've
like
cooked
that arm stretched out cooking bacon.
I've cooked many of breakfasts in the morning on Sundays for Tamara shirtless. I'm like, will you go get me a shirt? I'm dying over here. I'm getting gilled. I'm getting war wounded. And she has one of those little metal things. It's like just a screen that you lay over a pot
Oh
so the
yeah, yeah,
splatter
yeah.
won't get you. We was just, husband and wife cooking breakfast. I was joking with her, picking on her. I was a little homesick after being gone racing, missed her, and we was just cooking breakfast together for supper. And it went shitty real quick. But we were smart. We called both hospitals. One was slammed. Thankfully, the better one that I thought was the better one wasn't. And she drove a little 30 minutes extra and was in there and out within an hour. I'll take it.
Worked out, man. Worked out.
Yeah.
All
So
right, we
the
getting into
next
your weekend?
topic, brother, I got my big old motor home and I drove my tail to Alabama. And the unknowns for me was at a high level. I had a few pictures, a few thoughts, a few people had told me, whatever, had good news, bad news. I didn't know what I was getting into really. Like, well, the good thing is my motorcycles, I try to set them up where they'll go down. Like, I don't race at all good tracks. They're a variety. So I set my stuff up where they'll go down. Well, I got there Thursday night. Wes was done there. We pulled in, got parked, and said, I'm gonna go look at the track. So Wes went with me. We walked down there and we had our flashlights out. Man, it was in the track's defense, they had been rained out for 3 weeks in a row. One of the rain out weeks was a hurricane. It put like 2 foot of water on the entire racetrack because the track's in like a hole, basically. And
Oh,
there was no rubber. Like there was rubber on it, but it was pretty much depleted. Like it was just not good. And I was still optimistic. There was some cracks in the track, and I knew that was going to be little bumps. Not really a bump, it was like a divot, I guess you'd say, where it was a crack. But and there was grass growing in the shutdown, which hadn't been working for 3 weeks. So the first thing they did when they showed up Friday morning was I seen a 0 turn mower go down there. I'm like, cool, they're going to go mow the grass. And they mowed and drug. And then another flaw being closed for 3 weeks was we had a little private test for 3 hours that all of us chipped in to do and timing system issues. One after another. It pretty much squashed like half the test session, maybe a little bit more. And then it kind of partially, the next one, we had a couple more issues and they had to fix some other things. And they worked hard. And the old dude, the owner and the old guy that helped, do the racetrack work, they knew what they were doing. They worked hard. Friday night, I had my doubts. I was double O red, 002 red in no box, and 008 red in box first round. And Clark Proctor won the box shootout. And
was he using a box?
yeah, he's got a box.
Way to go,
And
Clark.
Wes went in the final of the no box shootout against John. I think it was
Nice.
John. I think it was John.
Y'all didn't tell me any of this.
Yeah, Wes lost in the final against. I'm pretty sure it was John. John was on the street bike, and that was the shootouts. After all that, I was like, really, like, man, like, what are we gonna do tomorrow? How are we gonna make this work? I made one top gas test pass. I went a 515, but it was up a tire from probably 400 foot on. Like it was all the ET that I had was just front half, and it kind of maintained it, out the back. And the tune up I had in there should have went 508. And Well, I did at the other Kentucky race the week before, the race before. Anyway, Sunday come by and said, I talked to them. They're going to prep the track either tonight or first thing in the morning and drag it like a lot. I'm like, okay. I said, I think that's what they need to do. I thought it needs rubber. Like it's been
Yeah.
sitting for so long and the rain and all that. So I wake up Saturday morning and they were on the track with the tractor and, old school flat drag on a tractor. And they drug, and prepped it. I went out there, felt good. It felt good Friday until it sit in the sun for so long it got a little greasy, but there was just not enough rubber down. And they impressed me. The track went from like, and this is going to be miserable to actually I could race, and my top gas bike would spin if I got out of when you spray a track that's I don't know how long wide the lanes are, 15 foot. The tractor's not spraying the whole 15 foot. It's spraying, the groove basically. And if you got out of that, it would, get up on the tire, which that's common. Anyway,
So it
we
was
went,
good. They
yeah,
turned it into a good track.
yeah, they done a good job. I mean,
Little,
this is new owners. This is like their first full year. They bought it in last year. So they got a lot to learn. And I was impressed with how good they did.
hey, talking about drags real quick, throwback, y'all. I remember my
They had a
local
tire
track.
there. They had a tire there, a big tractor tire with a
Did
lag
they?
bolt in it. They didn't use it, but it was there.
Oh, yes, that's what I'm talking about,
That's
baby.
what Crossville used to do.
I've
Crossville used to
seen
drag a tire behind a
gigantic,
pickup.
yeah, like a gigantic backhoe
Yeah.
size tire, and they just flip it on the side and drag it. And it's like, at the time when I was a kid, growing up, seeing that stuff, I'm like, oh, that's how they prep the track. And like now, knowing what I know, I'm like, wow, that was the thing.
Hey, look, man, tractors are a baller item. And I used to think that
Oh, there's no doubt. I'm just
when
saying, like,
farmers
to
used to come
think
to
that.
farmers would come to my dad's salvage yard and be like, I'm just old broke farmer. Can you give me a deal? And I was just like, yeah, I'll help you out. I give them a deal and fix their four wheeler and send them on their way. Now that I'm older, a little wiser, they lied to me because tractors are expensive. I'd
Oh,
love to
yeah,
have
no
one with the
doubt.
AC and one of them bat wing bush hogs to mow my fields, and I don't. I got a 6 foot bush hog, and here I go. That's what I got. And I have a little B tractor, which to me is great to have. But anyway, they had the big tractor tire out there, and the sides were like rubbed flat where they drug it and had a big
But
eye
that's what
bolt in the
I'm
middle of
saying.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just to me, it's funny. Like, not even having like like now you got the rotators and all the fancy stuff. Like, it's definitely advanced. I'm
The
just saying,
rotator
like,
is definitely the ultimate put rubber on the
oh,
racetrack tool.
for sure.
Yeah.
But
Flat drag is just touching it up,
just knowing that that used to be a thing, that you would
Yeah.
take a tractor tire, y'all, for the history lesson for y'all that never heard of this. Literally, like we're saying, we're talking like a 5 foot wide tractor tire, lay it on its side, and that's what you're dragging.
They
I'm just
just had an
saying,
eye
you
bolt in the
think
middle
about
of it and they
that. You
pull it
think
behind the
about that.
pickup. And
You're dragging the sidewalls of a tractor
the
tire
knobs on the tractor tire.
are
And
sideways.
yeah, Crossville would pull one down through there and it would be screaming and just blowing smoke off of it. Like it would behind the pickup, just it
A
would be smoke
pickup.
coming.
That's impressive.
Yeah, they would pull it
I've
behind a
also
pickup.
seen like multiple like just old car tires like, secured together.
Cherokee used to have a tractor, a really old Ford tractor, and it had a piece of metal, and they would cut up old slicks and screw them like around these bars on the metal and put drums of water on it and then drop the weight on the track and just drag it down the racetrack. That they didn't even have a legit flat drag. It was like a
Oh
homemade one.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Love that stuff. Home cooking.
yeah,
Sorry, I
yeah. I mean,
interrupted you.
that's what we growed up around, right?
Uh,
Like the backwoods. I consider
history lesson
myself
for
growed
y'all.
up poor, and the tracks were poor like me, And hell, I'm still poor.
The tracks were poor like me.
Yeah, they was. That's where I raced. That was, I fit
Um,
in where I fit in. I didn't go to Bristol. I couldn't afford that place, so I stayed home. And but they really done a good job. Turned the
that's
track
cool.
around. We started racing. Um, I was still spinning up top, but I don't think it was the prep. I think them little cracks would just let my bike get up on the tire on my top gas bike, not the other one. It would never spun up top that I felt Saturday. Um, Getting into the class stuff. Let's see the
Yeah, we're gonna do some race results. I got us sidetracked on tire drags.
Yeah, I got it pulled up here. So Street ET, sponsored by Hard Times Parts and Service.
Uh-oh.
Uh, yeah, yeah,
Who's that?
some hillbilly.
That's right.
Heard he got like 44 championships or something. I don't know,
Man, I don't
something like
believe
that.
it. Don't believe it.
Yeah.
Carry on.
It was won by it's his race team name, Stupid Built Racing. I know him. I just can't remember his name. And runner up was Edward Bradley. And let's see what the next one was. Ultra Sportsman um, was won by Nicholas Bowling on a street bike. He's on his
Mm.
Busa running 6.0. Runner up was Ronnie Woodall Jr.
Yes, sir.
You
Good
got
to
to
see
know who
Ronnie out
Ronnie
there
is. Yep. Ronnie
racing.
actually, hang on a minute. Ronnie was in the final with Clark in the box shootout
Oh,
Friday night.
nice.
Yep.
Nice.
It just
That
come back to
Nicholas
me.
Bolin, that kid's on a roll. He's
Yeah.
rolling good from the Midwest
Yeah.
sportsman motorcycle. Fantastic, botastic,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. Jeremy
Yeah.
England's deal to here.
And in the True Hand Clutch Street ET, it was won by Bernard Richardson, and runner up was Hardy Beatty. And I just want to point out, I watched a one round. It might have been the semis in True Hand Clutch ET, but Bernard and the other guy he was racing both dialed 710. And they leave the line. Well, Bernard left the line. The other guy stalled the bike, but it died. Now they're trucking down the racetrack, and I see Bernard get off the gas like probably 500 foot, and then I see a brake light come on. In a 710, dead on. I was like, holy, I mean, I couldn't even do that.
And
Like, I was like,
the other guy just never even
never
stalled the bike.
left. Yeah, it
Wow.
just died. But I'm pretty sure, I know it was his Jigsaw. I'm pretty sure it was that. It could have been Proving Grounds, but I'm pretty sure that it was the True Hand Clutch 3DT.
Nice.
And Junior Dragsters was won by Logan Spires. Um, Pro ET was won by Corey Lee, beat me in the finals. My old girl, you know, decided to roll the back tire before she moved, and give me the old hoodooing. But it was easy round win for him. I had a 040 something light because it didn't leave, and there we were. I didn't even try to even
Uh,
do any hokey pokey. I just
they
run it
don't
down
want to
through
hear
there and
your
rolled out of it.
excuses. They don't
That's what
want to hear
happened.
it.
But
Yeah.
in V Twin, it was won by Ronnie Pop, and runner up was Alfonso Thompson. Yeah, there he is. Uh, what it was improving grounds. Shedrick Richardson was riding the other guy's Jigsaw, and he
Okay.
was racing Cam Hamilton, and Shedrick. They went dead on 710, like getting out and on the brake pedal like way early. Like, I mean, they're learning, right? So that makes
Yeah.
sense. That's why the other one
Okay.
stalled it and all that stuff. But he was letting him ride his bike to learn, which is cool. And that's sponsored by University of Wynn, just so y'all know. Pretty fitting, to see people go out there and learn. And MTC Super Comp was won by Richard Miller. Runner up was me. Um, Mistakes were made. I'm not going to say anything else because Ben will call excuses, and I ain't up for the punishment.
Look. You might not have won the race, but you won the title.
Yeah, I am the
You didn't win the fight, but you won
2024
the war.
MTC Super Comp champion
That's right.
at SDBA, 161 point lead, and I got a race left. So, um, Richard Miller, well, we was about to race the final. I'm like, hey, you want to do anything to money? He goes, I want to spend it on hookers and blow. And I hope he is spending it on hookers and blow because that's what he said he wanted to do.
Wearing the Joker outfit.
Yeah.
Wearing the Joker
Yeah, it's
outfit.
very fitting. It
Yeah.
was a very fitting response.
No,
And the last
seriously
class,
though,
man,
y'all,
was
he has his leathers are like they look like the Joker from the Batman
yeah,
suit.
yeah.
And
I
he's
mean,
got the helmet.
I didn't even call him by his name. I just say the Joker. That's what
Yeah,
I
the
call him.
Joker.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, The last class was
Man,
top
we hope you
gas.
spent that on the hookers and blow.
Yeah, me too. I was like, everybody's like, well, you didn't split. I'm like, no. He said if he won, he was going to spit on hookers and blow, and he did. So I hope he is. Like,
Oh man.
I was surprised. Wes was like, he didn't split. I'm like, no. He goes, you mean to tell me he raced a guy that's won the past two races and didn't want to split? I'm like, well, I always ask. It's just what I do. And he didn't want to split. He goes, holy shit. I'm like, well, I hope he spends it on hookers and blow. That's what he wanted to do with it. So have at it, you
That's
know.
funny. That's
And
good stuff.
top gas, I won. I won top gas
Ah, see, there you
somehow.
go.
I raced my buddy Evan Stevens in the final. Evan, bless his heart, he apparently hurt a clutch in his bike and he had a bye to the final. And I had to race Cody Spires. I want to talk about that here in just a second. I'm still upset at myself for that one. But um okay, I'll go over it first because it makes sense in the story. So I raced Cody, and Cody's bike, he didn't line his magnet up before he pushed the button. Goes on the two step, it pulls through the beams. And man, I was already staged on the two step. Bike's, timing's pulled out. It's it's raising hell and popping and banging and moving me around. And my brain said, oh shit, he went through the beams back out. And about the time I started to roll off a throttle, the tree fell and my thumb said, nope. And I was gone. Like the bike was ahead of me for at least 150 feet. Like I was still thinking about backing out of the beams and the bike said, here I went. And got out of the groove and spinning and it was ugly. And I'm mad at myself about that. And I've told him 10 times, but it is what it is. That's just racing. I wanted to back my brain and my heart wanted to back out, let him restage and race. Cody was on fire though. He was number one qualifier, went 5-10 every round in eliminations except that one. He was dialed in. His bike was working good on that track. Mine wasn't. I was just making do with what I had. I raced a bar bike in round two, and it was up on the tire near the finish line, and I grabbed the old crap button on the while it was doing it, and it got me there. It wasn't pretty. I apologized to bike in the shutdown. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but it just had to happen. It was just something I had to put it through. Um, I also took the points lead back in top gas, which was cool. Um, anyway, I raced Evan. Evan didn't take his bye, like he didn't make the pass. He just broke the beams. Well, the round before, Evan's bike wheelied because he come by and told me about it. And he had to pedal a wheelie. So I was like talking crap about Evan, like this idiot didn't take a bye and get his tune-up right to race me in the final. Like I'm all for good racing. Well, Crystal come by and said, hey, can I get a booster clutch for you? I'm like, sure. Or from you. I got her a booster clutch kit and she paid and went on her way. Then Evan come to the lanes when they called us up. I'm like, hey, what do you want to do with the money? He goes, let's kick 100 to the winner. Like, okay, cool. We like doing that. That's cool. We leave. Evan treated me. I knew he'd been killing the tree, but I've been living in the 03 zone. And that's where I was. I was 03, he was 01, and his bike wheelied, and old two-tone just done what she does in the front half. I think I had my best 330 of the night. Rolled out, went like a 14 or something. And I won. Well, then he come back by and he was like, hey, that clutch kit was for me. I smoked the clutch. I barely could break the beams running under power. And I was like, why didn't you just tell me that? Also, why didn't you split even in the final? Like, what are we doing? Like, he was like, I just like racing for something. I'm like, man, it ain't even about the money to me. Like, we could have just split even and you would have got the same amount as me. And that don't matter. Like,
Maybe
I told him,
maybe he thought if he told you like maybe he was worried if he told you about troubles that maybe you wouldn't want to split.
I would always split. He's my friend. But
I'm just
either way,
saying, maybe he
yeah,
was thinking that.
either way, you know me enough.
I know him. I know him
Even
a
if
little
I
bit.
knew,
That'd have been cool. I like it. He wanted to race for
even
something, man.
even if I knew that Evan's clutch went out and that was the reason he didn't take his pass, you know that I'm not going to race that way. I'm not going to think
Oh
that I'm going to
no,
have an
I'm not
easy
talking about you
round.
racing. You were just talking
Yeah.
about the money, though.
Yeah. I just feel like he should have split even. And we was 2 bikes shy from having the full payout and we didn't know it. I thought it was 10 and it was 12. And if I'd known it was 12, I would have said, hey, who all wants to chip in and buy 2 tech cards and throw some random ass people in the class. And we just didn't. We didn't think about it.
Yeah,
And
it happens.
It is what it is. It paid decent. So it didn't pay me enough for the pain that I felt in my motorcycle for abusing it, but it was enough to make it worthwhile. Um, on my personal side of the weekend, I went from going worried about a racetrack, oh God, this track's crazy, it's terrible, to this track ain't that bad. Went to three finals of the three classes I race. Can't be mad at it. Like you just, I mean, I went from thinking that I could just go home and it would be okay. And I stuck it out, went through the 92-degree heat and all that stuff, and had a pretty good, show. And I did do some things to the bikes Saturday morning just to try to help them get down the racetrack more efficiently and consistently, and it did work. Um, I went a 512 in top gas qualifying, and it would not. 15 was all it had in it Friday, so uh, I did help it a little bit. So I made good judgment calls. Um, I was a bad dude in Pro ET delay box racing until that final. I
Until you
was
weren't.
Yeah, I mean, I was my worst slide I think was 014, I think. Um,
Dang, that is killer.
yeah, I was, but here's the thing, I was
Wait, that
between
was your worst light?
yeah, 014, 007 to 014 was my light spread Saturday
And you
in Pro
lost?
ET. No, the final I was 040 because it spun the damn tire before it moved. It didn't
Oh,
go
oh,
forward. It
oh,
went
oh.
it
I was
wrote
like, how'd that
I
happen?
call it rotated the tire before it left, and it hindered my reaction time. It don't hinder your ET, but it hinders the reaction time because it just don't go. It sits there. But either way, I was proud of myself. Even bottom bulbing, I was 002 red and 0-1 every hit until then. So I'm like, all right. I was 0-1 three
On
test
kill.
passes in a row. Yeah. So I'm like, cool. And the only thing I can think of is the LEDs that are hit different at nighttime. Like they actually hit different in the daytime too. I was looking at them, and you know how LED you can see like individual,
Oh, yeah, you
lights.
were telling me about that.
And I was looking at it, and the top bulb come on, and I come off the button using delay box on the other bike, and I watched bulbs like go out in it, and then it went out. I'm like, what the fuck? And then the bike left. I'm like, oh shit. But they just hit different nighttime, and I had to compensate. I added when the sun went down, I added 5 thou to the box to keep me from being red, and it worked out pretty good. So I was actually tighter on the tree than I had been in a while on that bike, and I just made a whole bunch of changes, so they were good changes in my opinion. Sonny did post the points up, but we'll worry about that after the last race of the year. We'll go over all that good stuff.
Yeah, we gotta have us a championship
Finale.
recap.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Where
We're
are
going
you
to give
racing
away.
next?
Well, I was supposed to go to Knoxville for a JJ arm drop, no prep this weekend. It was supposed to have been on Friday, and they moved it to Saturday. Unfortunately, we had planned my daughter's birthday party on Saturday, so I will not be there. I backed out of that deal. My homie Wes Brown was going to go, and then he decided to drop a valve in his jigsaw. So
Oh man.
he's going to still go, I think, but take his Busa, which being you both know that that's not going to be. Um, if it was a back side of the racetrack, yes, but it's a front side, just no prep, so it's going to be too slow probably, and
I
hopefully you
mean,
don't go
oh,
abuse
like
it.
start. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
You
normal
said front
running.
side, back side. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, back sides when you race from the shutdown
Yeah,
backwards.
it took me a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
I'm not up to snuff with the
And I ain't
no
gonna
prep
lie,
stuff.
a little tiny piece of me thought, man, Wes on my bike could win that shit. But then I also thought Wes is very destructive. And I
Hey, in
love,
his defense, he did not tear up my bike that year I loaned it to him.
yeah, I know. But you also wasn't spraying 100 shot of nitrous to it. And
No, but he kept spraying the shit out of my little 30 shot. He
yeah,
was spraying that thing religiously.
yeah,
Actually,
I
he had
put,
to because he's running crazy eights. That's
well, I
right. I
have
forgot
put
about that.
Wes on my bracket bike.
Yeah,
He's
I
rode
know.
it at Glot. Remember when his blowed up, he rode it at Glot
Yeah,
the time I won the big money. But
we love you,
um,
Wes.
yeah, I
We're
love
gonna ride
Wes.
your
My
ass.
wallet said, nah, nah, no, no, no. Let's not do that because I have XDA next weekend. Let's just not
Yeah,
let's not create carnage. And if I was there with him tuning, probably. Um, I would turn the second stage off though, where he couldn't push the button. But I would for sure tune it and let him ride it. But him, you don't even know I thought of this, but I thought in my head at first, I'm like, he could come get my bike, and then I was like, hey, better not do that, better not. So I'm
Heard
gonna
it here.
keep my toys at home and keep them running because they got let's see, I got XDA, IHRA World Finals, and then one last SDBA. So I got 3 events left, and we're done. Out unless I go to KOG, and then that might be the only thing, but that's it.
Oh
And you're
man,
retired at this
I'm
moment for the
retired.
rest of the year.
I'm retired. I'll see y'all
What a
next year.
what a slacker.
I know. It's fun and
You
games.
know what you should do since you're stopping the race season early? You should start your maintenance now.
Yeah, right. Like that's
And
gonna
it's a
happen.
good time. Like
I
you
didn't
would be
even
going
unpack the
race.
trailer. The trailer's
I
still
know it, but
packed.
you should you know, get
I
the
told you I
mo
already have a dilemma. I don't even know what I want to race next year.
get the motor out of the purple bike. It's got to be freshened up.
I
Get the other
got an
mo
idea. No, I got an idea. Seeking sponsorship. Let's go pro extreme racing. That'd be fun. I want to go race with PDRA.
No, not happening.
We know a guy.
Your spare motor needs to go to Eric.
I
Your
know
purple
that's
bike motor needs to come out to be maintenance. And then you could put your Old Faithful on the
on the
lift
chopping block.
and start assembling it and
Yeah,
getting a parts list together. And
I
you
could do
know,
all that.
you could
Right
you're
now, I
not
got this
going to.
blue. Right now, I got this blue 14 on my lift, half torn apart. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with. Still can't even get the fuel injector harness unplugged. I hate these
I
14s,
have
man.
a blue 14 in my garage that Uncle Jerry's coming to get tomorrow.
He can come get his old blue 14 out of mine for all I care. Dang, I hate these things. Like I'm like, it's literally right behind me, and it's just, man, me and that bike have had some good times, but damn, I do not like working on these suckers. Um,
Actually,
yeah,
Uncle
no, you're
Jerry
right.
might
I
be going to
should.
the Man Cup this weekend.
Oh, oh, nice.
Where you went, South
Yeah,
Carolina.
yeah. No, you're right. I should be working on my stuff and getting shit ready. So
Well, if
we'll
you
see
start
how that
now,
goes.
you still ain't going to be ready by then, but
No, no,
you'll
definitely
be.
not. But
Now we know
might
you
be
too well.
closer.
And we know, if you start it, you
Well,
have to finish them.
I haven't even scheduled the purple bike motor rebuild. It's obviously coming down south.
Yeah. Um, I'm going to have, let's see, 2 motors to freshen. My brother's bringing me a motor in boxes that I'm just thrilled about.
I'll add another
Marcus
one to the list.
Marcus needs a valve adjustment, so I told him that if it ain't got tie retainers, it needs them. So he might as well yank the head off and let Ray do that, or Eddie or somebody. Man, yeah. To be honest, I'm not touching my motorcycles until after my vacation, and it's a New Year's, so I'm not touching them. I'm taking the. I've worked on them all year. I'm after my last race at SDBA. If I don't go nowhere, they're just going to sit on the lift, just sit there.
Yeah. I'm uh
And to be
I'm
honest, I truly believe both motors could go another season without touching them, but I ain't gonna do that.
I was gonna
But they
say, why
could.
are you even saying that? I would know for sure. This raggedy thing we're about to pull out though, and put me on my schedule. I need in. That thing needs some TLC, and we are putting gasket seal on the head gasket this
Well,
time.
if I build it, it'll have it in
Thanks,
there.
Spencer.
Yeah.
Still leaking oil.
I can tell you right now, you need pistons and rods right before you even come down here. And
Well,
obviously, Green Barons is okay because that's what we put in it. So,
that's how I roll, y'all. I remember Corey wouldn't even sell them to me one time.
yeah, he wouldn't even sell them to you because
I
he knew what
called
you
him
was doing.
up, called Corey at Fun for All. I was like, I need some green bearings. He was like, how many? I was like, all of them. He was like, what? And I was like, yeah. He's like, you call me back when you know what you actually need. And I was like, okay. And he hung up and
I'd have called him back. Hey, I need Green
I
Barons.
was like, fuck, I guess he's not gonna sell me green bearings.
Well, I don't build my motors that way. Honestly, none of my motors have Green Barons in them. There's not a Green Baron in either one of them.
Look,
All 3 of them.
I don't I'm definitely not an engine builder. I have built motors before, and I've been around a lot of motor building. To me, there's leeway, there's preferences, there's different ways to do things. I mean, there's
Well,
different theories. Like
if
the way I think about oils and bearings is like, okay, well, it gives it more room for oil.
true, but if you're hot lapping and your oil's thin, it ain't got no buoyance to it. And
True,
that's when,
but you
now,
got
if
then you
you
go
have a
heavier
grudge
weight
bike,
oil.
if you have a grudge bike or a pro street bike that makes a pass and sits for 45 minutes, yes, and you're going to service the motor often. Green Barons
Right,
is
right.
fine. But if you have a bracket bike that you hot lap and sometimes run more than one class on, no, it is not. But your motor's been together for how many freaking years, and you and Steven have beat the dog crap out of it.
All my old motors, think about that.
So you made
Uh,
me a liar,
I'm
you know.
just look at my point is this. There's different what do they call it? Different strokes for different folks or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
and there's plenty of ways to work. Like me and my engine builder back in the day, shout out Mr. Brian Snyder. I love him. He's still build them if I convince him to, I'm sure. But Brian, I learned from him and I learned his ways, and that's just what me and him did. And you know what?
Now,
Knock on wood, we've never had an engine failure because of
I
that.
have a motor. It's a 1507. And if you put green bearings on them main bearings in that motor, it would explode.
Why is that?
The crank has about 3,000 passes on it. And the crank is, the journal diameter is
Oh yeah,
small.
I got you. I got you.
So it has yellow bearings in that motor right now because that's what it needed to get where I want it to be.
I got you. Right.
It's a,
Yeah.
yellow is the
But all
tightest
things,
bearing they make.
yeah. Yeah.
If you don't know, the listeners, a plain bearing engine like a Hayabusa ZX14, a bearing is just a shim. Your oil is what the crank is just sitting there spinning like a film, a thin coat of oil, which is like, let's just say, 2 thousandths of an inch of
Yeah.
oil around the journal. So when you rev the dog crap out of your bike, think about 2 thousandths of an inch of oil is keeping that crank from touching that bearing. That's just a shim. I'm just saying.
I
It's
mean, like
amazing.
when you put it like that, like how do these fucking things run?
It's amazing. It really is. There's a lot of oil pressure. Like one of
Yeah.
my motors have 150 pounds going on the racetrack, but the pressure is keeping everything centered. But it,
Uh-huh.
it just blows my mind that crank with the load of the when you're spraying nitrous and stuff just can't push the oil out of the way and tear shit up, you know.
Yeah.
But it don't. It's amazing. Engineers are cool. I mean, some of them can over engineer for sure, but that shit's genius. I mean, back in the day, old stuff like GSs and KZ engines, they have roller bearing cranks like your wheel bearings.
Right,
They're just
right.
roller bearings. And that makes sense. A plain bearing engine does not. It's like, what? All you're doing is shimming the crank. That's all you're doing. It's
It's wild,
it's
man.
impressive.
It's
Now,
wild.
we're going to give
Oh,
away a shock service.
yep. We got a shock service left. I know we keep telling y'all, but we are very close to the higher valued items. We love all our
Our
sponsors and
school members are going to
supporters.
love us too, ain't they?
Yeah, yeah, we'll tell y'all about that in a second too. But we love and appreciate, and everybody gave us a ton of stuff. But we know y'all are waiting for them higher tickets, the BST wheels, MTC clutch, and of course the Penske
this
Racing
this
Shop.
past weekend, Wes was like, "When am I going to win something?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know. Talk to the wheel spin people. I don't know."
Yeah, I don't know. We try and do it fair, y'all.
Yeah, we have
Um,
no idea when anybody's going to win anything.
so yeah, we're gonna give away a shock service. What else going on that we want to talk about?
See, we covered
That's
everything.
it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me pull this up and give it away. By the way, I will say this though. I've seen like what is it was like now I'm seeing like there's like beef between roll racers and drag racers and stuff here and there sometimes, and I don't
I
know,
mean,
I'm part of some roll racer groups for one of my business clients and stuff, and it's like that's an interesting crowd.
I'm not going to get into this subject. It's not politics for me. I'm staying
Oh,
out.
is it? Well, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like I see it with like the clients I deal with, and
Uh-huh.
the roll racer crowd. Like I field questions from
Yeah, yeah,
them.
yeah. I'm just not going to give my opinion on roll racing because they ain't going to like it when I say what I say.
I don't think they're gonna like it either. What I'm probably not gonna say now,
No,
but yeah.
no.
Anyways, well, I don't know. It's just weird. It's different.
Look,
Hey,
y'all
y'all
do
have
what y'all
fun.
do. But
Y'all
when
have
a
fun.
fucking squirrel runs out and kills your ass, you ask for it. That's what I'll think about it.
I'll share this. I do want to share this, and this
It's not
is
safe.
yeah.
Guys
First
with
off,
shorts and no
it's
t-shirt or whatever. It's just
listen. This is what I want to share. So it's I had I'm not going to get into any even remotely close to specifics, but a client I was working with, they had a customer have a piece of body work come off, body work that they sell. And the customer was, going back and forth, trying to figure out what might have caused it, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And then, you know, I don't think the customer was getting exactly where he thought it should go. And he just kind of casually threw out, like, it could have caused me to wreck or something. Well, then turns out like this specific dude's out like street racing in shorts, no shirt, doing 200 miles an hour. It's like, dude, if like something, a piece of body work, like you're playing with fate anyways there.
yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
You might not love yourself, but I'm sure there's somebody in your family that loves you and wish you wear leathers. I know, I understand that it's more weight. You might not win your race, but you're going to be alive if you crash. Just saying.
man, yeah, I mean 10 pounds. All right,
I mean, those
whatever.
guys,
Anyways,
like I've watched those guys stop and pick up their bikes under the seat and move them. It's like, holy crap, they're light.
yeah,
They're 300 something pound motorcycles.
yeah,
But
that's true. But yeah, not I didn't mean to
whatever
try and
floats
take
your
us down
boat.
a road. I just
Yeah,
like
I
I've been
mean,
seeing stuff here and there, and I'm like, what's
yeah,
going on?
hamburger, hot dog. I'm a hamburger guy.
All right. Oh, you know what we haven't talked about though?
What?
Real Street.
I mean, it's going to be interesting. I really don't know what to say about it except there's a bunch of kicking and screaming going on. But
New
um,
Real Street rules, y'all.
I will tell you
I'm pretty
this:
sure we haven't talked about that.
it ain't gonna be no fun when the rabbit got the gun. I'm just gonna say that. Like, I don't think. I think that a wheelbase is the ultimate holdup in in real street class. So you could have pro street Hayabusa horsepower, but if you're 63 inches, you can only
Oh
go
yeah.
so fast. Like actually, Litton, I seen a reel this evening while I was eating of him testing using a Gen 2 clutch on the two step, throw the lever. The bike just squatted and left, and it was all hunky dory until about 200 foot. And then it was back wheel, back wheel, back wheel. And then he got it down and went on down through there. It was just eighth mile testing. And I seen a clip of Super Dave making a pass testing, and I think it
The
might have been
hell you see
Darlington.
finding these clips?
I'm around the internet. I'm watching the internet, and I've
You
seen a
on
nitrous.
Sam's channels?
No, he didn't. Oh, it might have been him. It might have been a reel that he had. Yeah, yeah. Fucking weirdo. Um. Anyway, I've seen a nitrous Hayabusa use a Gen 2 clutch and test. I tuned it, and yes, that bike is faster than it was before. But the problem before wasn't the bike, it was the rider. And we eliminated that. And was it fast as enough to go out there and destroy the record? No. You know what it did? It wheelied. It wheelied, and it didn't wheelie leaving, it wheelied 150 foot out when you start rolling the power in. The wheelbase is going to knock them where they need to be. So I'm not saying that there's not going to be a record broke by a power addered bike. I'm saying that they're going to have rules changed immediately right after until they get these things kind of tamed and figure out where they need to be. I honestly think that the class is going to be better. When you see racers that's in the class already testing for the new rules, they care. They're out there
Yeah.
doing their thing. Ty Isaac, he don't want the Gen 2 clutch in the class. He was against it. But his bike looks like a grudge bike now because it's long and he's going to be able to leave harder, go faster,
Yeah.
and keep his true hand clutch. So you just got to pick your poison.
I mean, I
Um,
thought it personally, like I was fine with it because here's the thing, and I used to be this guy. Like I still think and feel like it should be a true hand clutch class, but that those days are gone. Those days were gone years ago with the all motorbikes.
it ain't been real street since they
That's what I'm
left
saying.
stock ECUs. And then they
Well,
went to the all motors with the
yeah, that's what I'm
throwaways.
saying. So like it's not been a true hand clutch class for years. As long as
No,
there's been all motor with Gen 2s, it's not.
yeah,
And that's
it's
what
not.
it, everybody agreed on, and that made sense for that combination. And I have no
And you
problem with that. But deep down, I get that. But here's the deal. When the rule change allows for a Gen 2 with a deduction, right? It was like an inch deduction, I believe, right?
um well, it
Or
depends
it
on
was
how
the
you look
same.
at
It
it.
was the same
No,
wheelbase.
it's a deduction, an inch deduction. But if you keep the stock clutch, it's like a 2 inch up. So it's like a 3 inch window
Right, right.
of
That's what, so yeah, so
yeah,
that's my point. So you go to a Gen 2.
and you're going to be inch shorter than
Here's
you
here's
was.
the rule change, what we're trying to explain. Power outer bikes are now allowed to use a Gen 2 clutch in real street. However, if they choose to, from based on the prior race, they will be 1 inch shorter in wheelbase. But if they want to keep a hand clutch, they'll be 2 inches longer.
Yes.
So yeah, it's 2 inches longer than they would have been the race
You know
before,
the one they're going to
but
have to
3 inch
worry.
difference. So
I I personally think that Ricky, he can't they don't there's not a Gen 2 clutch for that model motorcycle. So he's going to take the wheelbase. And he don't need the Gen 2 clutch anyway. He's one of the very few that I think is can cut a lot and still manage the clutch consistently. Um I think he's going to be fast.
oh yeah, Ricky's gonna go fast for sure because he
He's
got
going to go
wheelbase. He got wheelbase.
he's going to go 30s and they're going to have to shorten him up.
But here's getting back to the point I was trying to make is like there was a lot of talk about this, and like I didn't understand what the talk was because
Bro, it
one,
was kicking and screaming.
we've been way past it being a true hand clutch class. Like, come on, y'all, years. That was years ago.
What
And
was it when
two,
Joey come out with the all motorbike
fuck,
that
15.
2015?
Dude,
Yeah.
because I called Cecil the day after the rules came out and I discussed it with him, because I was probably one of the first people to even consider building an all motorbike. But
It's the
back in
perfect bike for Ben Knight.
2015, I have no money for an all motorbike. So,
Now
anyways,
I think any of them would work for Ben Knight.
funny, F you. Um, but, I'll get there.
I got
But
him stumbled
my
up. He's
my
fucked up
point,
now.
yeah, my point was just that like nobody lost anything.
Mm-mm.
Like
Everybody
they
gained something.
like if you're all
Either
motor,
gain
nothing
wheelbase or gain
changed. You're still
clutch.
going fast. If you're a power adder and want to try Gen 2, you lose an inch, but you get this new fancy feature, right? Or if you want to stay where you are, you get some wheelbase. Like it's not, look, it's going to take some tweaks, as Dustin said. Like there's going to be wheelbase
Oh, it's
adjustments
going to
and
be
so on
messed
and
up
so
for a
forth.
minute.
But
Yeah.
like, hey, and people were like, also, some of the conversation was like, well, getting people in the class. And it's like, well, look, if you don't feel confident in your riding ability, then yeah, Gen 2 is a way to get more people in the class.
It will. There's a lot of riders that people that, race that can't do pro street because it's double the money, triple the money. They could do real street if they could ride. If they can't ride, then they can't. So they okay. Well, now I can build me a nitrous real street bike and run real street with a throwaway, and you'll have to tune it and try to control the power to keep it because the clutch will only do so much. If you have a great clutch tune up, but you just overpower your wheelbase, it's gonna wheelie. Period. I don't care. I tune clutches every day. If just like my top gas bike, if I took that thing and I shortened it up 4 inches and said, okay, I'm gonna spray my same tune up that's worked for years. It's not happening. It's gonna try to kill me. It hell sometimes tries to kill me now. So um it's gonna need some tweaks. There's gonna be you ever heard the old saying that sometimes it looks worse before it looks better? That's what it's gonna be. But it's gonna be better. We just got to get through this weird stage that we just the unknowns of. I mean, I'm curious to see how good that Super Dade runs. They have the Willerford knowledge of tuning the maximum knowledge, in my opinion, of tuning a turbo bike. If anybody's going to shatter the record, it's going to be them. And I'm not saying they won't. I'm not saying they will. I'm saying if they do, and if you're listening to this, they're going to take wheelbase from you, and then you're going to have to redo everything you just learned. Because in real street, 1 inch is a big deal. 1 inch when you're already on the edge is a big deal.
No doubt, no
So
doubt. So
we'll
sorry that was
see.
last minute. Let's give away this
It'd be
shock
cool to
service.
watch.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch it. Hell,
All right. We're gonna spin it. We're not gonna shuffle anything. We'll just
just push the button.
boom. All right. Penske Racing Shock Service gift
Man, I didn't
certificate.
even notice it was CJ 400's in this deal. I forgot
Oh
about that.
yeah. He never even let me send him his swag pack.
He just wants to gamble, don't he?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's like the first XDA, dude. He was talking to me. I tell him about it. He's like, "How do I sign up?" He's like, "Online." He's like, "Oh no, no, no." Pulls out a wad of hundreds, hands me 100, and said, "I'm signed up, right?" I said, "Yeah, I guess you are now." All right. It's I mean, it
He's
is.
old school, man.
It was
Yeah.
$100, right? And it's like, well, I guess you are signed up now. So I didn't never got to send him anything.
How's it going to be Farmer? It's been a minute since Farmer's won something. It
Damn it.
is
I guess I should have
peanut
shuffled it.
butter.
Sorry, y'all.
Peanut
Peanut
butter.
butter and jelly. All right. Congratulations, Mr. Farmer. You're getting a shock service. Does he have Penske shock?
I don't know. I don't
I feel
think he
like
does.
would know that.
I haven't talked to Farmer much in a while. He
I
hasn't been
know.
racing with us for nothing. Yeah, I
I
think he's been
know.
staying local.
That's I miss them.
Me too. Miss his whole family.
That's
His
what I'm saying.
wife.
I miss
She's
them. I
always
miss
so
everybody.
nice. His
We
daughter,
miss y'all.
his son. Good people.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations. That's all we got for tonight. We brought you back to back weeks. We felt bad for missing, so our love continues. Despite us not having a real audience base or any of that hoopla, we are here for y'all. We love y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. What a weird place to be. Me
All
and you
right.
just talk to we don't talk to anybody, do we? We just
We do this because yeah, it's fun every week.
fucking
No, it is
Toucan
fun.
Sam. I wish I
It
could
is
pull up
fun.
a picture of Toucan Sam right now.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. All right, y'all. We will be back when we're back. Probably 2 weeks.
Yeah, next week I'm gonna be
Yeah. Yeah,
in
that's what I'm
trouble.
saying. We went back to back. We're solid. All right. Oh, oh no, two last things real quick. And like we said, big stuff's coming. Yeah, Dustin mentioned University of Win earlier. So
Y'all look
uh
at this picture and tell me who you think it looks like. Oh,
I can't see the background. Up.
look at that little point, and it probably wiggles when he talks.
Oh man.
Fruit
Gosh,
Loop.
and I lost. Oh yeah, so university win perks for our members. This last year we gave away and what was it? It was like an AGV or ASV carbon fiber helmet. It was like what, a $1,200 helmet
Hmm.
and Vance and race suit and some other stuff as well. But those were the two big ticket items. This year we are giving away another Vance and race suit courtesy of Ralphie and Platinum, but also our school members. You boys are taking care of y'all. We are reinvesting even more. We got a discount. Shout out, thank you, Steve Nichols, Max ECU. But we bought a Max Sport for y'all. So they're also gonna some lucky winners getting a Max ECU.
Courtesy of me and Ben.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
See,
paid for
we
that.
ain't greedy. We ain't greedy.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not out here after clicks.
We didn't even mention liking and subscribing, and we're
Yeah.
still giving stuff away.
I know.
Man,
We
we're
love it.
terrible at this.
Yeah, we gotta figure it out. All right, y'all. That's all we got for tonight. See
All
y'all.
right.
I'm gonna go
See
rest
y'all
my
later.
beaten and battered neck for whatever reason. See ya.